Now it's time to be dangerous. Now it's time to get risky. Now it's time to truly find out what you're made of and what you could achieve. Now it's time to truly find out how many lives you can impact. Now it's time to find out what you were destined to become.
Welcome to Raw Minds, everybody. I'm your host, Eric, and today, man, do we have a story that hits hard for you guys today. Tonight, we got Scotty H in the room. Scotty is one of those men that don't forget he has lived through hell. 10 years in federal prison, 15 months alone in the hole. Had been through violence, overdose, chaos, all the stuff most people never come back from. But Scotty did, and he didn't just survive, he changed his whole life. 8 years clean by grace, by guts, by God, and by doing the hard work every single day. Now he helps men rebuild their lives from the ground up. He runs Diamond Life Academy. He speaks in schools, colleges, with leaders, with government people, all trying to fix the mess that we all call mental health and addiction in this country, and every country altogether, really. We all call it that. Scotty says he's like the David Goggins of recovery, and honestly, he's not lying. The discipline, the mindset, and the fight, you can feel it, so just you wait. So stay locked in. This is Real Talk. This is Raw Minds, and before we get started, do me a favor. Comment, share, follow, like the show. All that stuff helps, for people that need to find these stories and get farther out there. Well, no further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest, Scotty. Welcome to Raw Minds, brother.
What's up, bro? How you doing?
How's good, man? Good. I'm glad that we connected. You like that?
I love that. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
I love it, man. Love it. I mean, that's what it's about, brother. Your whole, like, everything I know about you, before we get into everything I know about you, like, we talked and what you sent me and stuff. I mean, it's true, man. You are the David Goggins of recovery, bro, and helping people. I did a little bit of my research and stuff like that behind, man, and what this guy is doing, I found him on TikTok. We talked on TikTok. We thought we did, kind of like we knew we had a conversation somewhere, right? But I'm glad that we got that all hooked up and connected and making this happen, man. So I just want to say, please, man, right off the bat, can you please plug everything? Plug all your stuff so people know where to go to get a hold of you, brother.
I got a website. It's called thediamondlife.ca. The Diamond Life was born out of all the things that we and everything that is pure and beautiful and rare go through in order to become the priceless pieces of life and spirit that we are. Like, everything on earth is created in turmoil, in the most violent, abusive environments possible. So that's where the Diamond Life came from. So the diamondlife.ca, it's a platform for transformational health and recovery, wisdom and knowledge. I'm also on TikTok, Scotty H 771, and everything else. YouTube is thediamondlife.ca, Instagram is thediamondlife.ca, and I'm also on Facebook at Scott Hulshof. And then I also have a Facebook page, Diamond Life Academy, as well.
Hell yeah, man. And that'll all be in the description, so you guys can check out the description and hit them up, man. Hit them up. So please, man, who is Scotty H, man? Like, who are you? Where did you come from? What got you where you are? I mean, I got this beautiful intro. I know a little bit, but if you can let the viewers know, man. And before we start, I just want to say, we are in 82 different countries. I see all of you guys watching. I appreciate all of you guys. So we're streaming in 83, our 82 countries and growing. So I just want to say out there before we start, thank you everybody for everything. No pressure, by the way, Scotty, just so you know.
Currently being translated in 82 languages across the world. Who is Scotty H? Man, who I am now is definitely not who I was most of my life, that's for sure. Scotty H is just, that's just a symbol for me right now. It's this, I guess it's his personality are you still there? We good?
I think we did.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you're back now. Go for it.
Okay. So I don't know. It was weird. It was about 7 years ago. I had this vision and this dream about creating a platform, and a bigger dream to create a society and an actual association and like my Sober Nation Canada. I mean, be aware. I am on the hunt right now, and I am making moves in my life to situate myself to set these things up. But Diamond Life came first, and then Sober Nation Canada came second. And I had this vision for a platform that would inspire people across the country to follow stories of recovery and follow solution services and things that really that people, I believe, needed to hear and to know what was possible. And so we launched Diamond Life Academy, and we did our very first video from January 1st in 2019 from English Bay in Vancouver. I was doing the polar bear swim with this
Oh, sick.
random lady I met at the gym who just told me that I inspired her through talking to her, and she was so intimidated coming into the gym one day, and I sat down and started talking to her and showing her how to do things, and we sparked up this really amazing relationship, and she invited me to do this lifelong dream to polar bear swim in English Bay as a penguin.
You dressed up
So
as a penguin?
I seriously, and I almost drowned, dude. It was she misdid my size of my pants, and she zipped me up in the back, so I couldn't actually unzip it. And then when we waddled into the water and dove in, my suit filled up with water, and I couldn't move out of the.
It was dragging
And I'm
you
like
down.
freaking out.
God.
Bro, and it was so, I mean, I do cold plunges all the time, all across the country. I've done them. I don't mind the cold water, but it was almost this moment of panic. But anyways, that's
Yeah.
where Scotty H, because one of my best friends, Natasha, she was like, "Oh," she cracked some joke about, "Did you see that? Scotty H almost died." And I was like, and it just stuck. Like it just stuck from there on, and it was like, hey, live on location, Scotty H, and this is my story. You know, it took me a long time to get there. I like to say that I think Scotty H is about the most authentic version of myself that I've had the courage to be my entire life. It's been a journey of unwiring and, you know, unmanipulating my ego and my mask projections that I carried with me the majority of my life. I'm sure, I mean, I've
Cool.
listened to a lot of some of your guests, and that you'll always hear the same theme a lot from us recovered addicts, that we had an identity crisis, that we basically projected, and I know I did. I projected whatever I needed to in order to get the acceptance I needed and validation. I was a chameleon, and I often joked and mocked about it. Like, I was proud of it. I was proud that I could be whatever I needed to be in every situation, right? And in doing that was completely robbing myself of the authenticity that God gave me to be from the very beginning, you know? And yeah,
Just to touch on that real quick, do you think it was almost like a defense mechanism in a sense too?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, you know, like, any attention is better than no attention. I was bullied
Yeah.
heavily in school. I was abused as a child, not by my mom or anything like that, like by babysitters and boyfriends and things like that, and bullied and all types. And the defense mechanisms that I created were like class clown, you know, center of attention, always the charismatic personality in the middle of anything that I could draw people's attention to. But it was always, look at me, look at me, look at me, but don't look at me, because I was so ashamed and embarrassed to be what I was, which, I mean, is stupid as a kid. Like nobody
Yeah.
expects you to be really anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You're just pure, man. As a kid, you're pure. You grow up in this evil world and it changes you, man, at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, right now I do group I co-collaborate group facilitation at one of the
I
local
think we
treatment
lost you again.
centers.
Oh, you're back.
It might be my Wi-Fi because I'm in my office downstairs, but I co-facilitate at a treatment center, and for a group of guys, and we are going through right now core values and beliefs, and a lot of what we talk about is that the underlying unconscious and subconscious core beliefs and core values that we bring up through our lives from childhood, where we've been corrupted and abandoned and neglected and lacked the love and guidance and attention that we needed from our family environment, and how it affects us as we get and go through life, how it dictates the narrative of our minds and our lives. Because it is so true. I am a huge buff of neuropsychology and psychology, so it's part of my academia. Those studies in learning about the human being, like, human behavioral
Yeah,
psychology,
yeah,
biodevelopmental psychology. I love all that neuropsychology because it's so true, right? Like
yeah. That's
it
where you
all
get all your
plays a
data
huge
from.
role.
That's your
100%.
data. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, like, you're like the human being data, you know what I mean? That's like you, like
Yeah.
what drives you, what you are. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I said to my guys this morning, I'm like, anyone here get an instruction manual on how to function? Like, yeah, it's funny, but we get like I'm sitting in my office right now and I've got 3 fucking manuals around me right now. One for my dash cam, one for my laptop, one for my receiver for my sound system, right? Like, but we never got for the most complex, most like intricate, compilation of everything known to the universe. We never got an instruction manual on how to function and how to function in life, and
100%, man.
we're
Yeah.
created basically. We're like sponges of creativity and impression by our environment and our family situations, and that imprints on us for the majority of our lives,
And on speaking on that, sorry to cut, but speaking on that too, you're raised by these people that are your parents, and you're going by what their values are, what they're taught, everything like that. You know what I mean? So technically, they're just molding you into, it's just follow suit, follow suit, follow suit, and it's not like I just kind of lost my train of thought, but it's something like, you're not really even your own person in a sense. I know you're a kid and you're growing up trying to find your person, but I mean, you're following after these other people, which is your parents. And it's just, if you kind of get where I'm going with that,
Oh,
I've kind of
100%.
lost my train. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off, but I just
100%.
wanted to put that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we and we're taught and created and molded by the generation before us, and so on and so on and so on, right? Like I remember when I actually forgave my mom and understood my mom, and it wasn't until 8 years after her death. I was with my grandfather about 3 months before he died, and I was having this moment with him where I was really just kind of talking to him about getting to know him and understanding him, and I asked him a question. I was like, do you regret anything? Like, what are your regrets of life? Because I was really curious. He's 89 years old. He's lived a life, grew up in Holland during the war, had crazy stories, immigrated here with my grandmother, had my aunt and my mom. And I was really curious about what his regrets were. And he said to me 2 things without even hesitation. He said, the way that I treated your grandmother after we immigrated here after the war, and the way that I treated your mother after you were born. And in one sweeping moment, it all made sense. My mom was 16 when she had me. And so my grandfather being the proud Dutchman, railroader, like all this, we were not religious by any means, but proud Dutchman, prestigious in the community that they lived in. Here was this 16-year-old pregnant girl, and he cast her out. And my mom had to raise me at 16 years old, a child raising a child.
A child.
And right, like she was a child.
Well, is he coming back? Sorry, guys. It says no. It looks like Scotty's having a bit of an issue. So, we had a little bit of connection
Technical
issues there, but
difficulty.
Scotty's back. So we'll continue for where we went off, brother.
Sorry, man. Technical
Oh, you're
difficulties.
okay.
I was in my office.
No, you're good, brother. You're good.
So I was talking about, we were talking about passing on generational stuff, right? And I remember my mom passed away in 2010, and it wasn't until 2019 that I was with my grandfather. My grandfather passed away in 2019, shortly after this conversation, and I was really spending some time getting to know him, and asked him, like, curious, like, what do you regret? He's 89 years old, right? Like, he's lived a life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said 2 things. He said, and he didn't even skip a beat. He looked right at me like he was prepared to answer this question.
Been waiting.
Oh,
probably.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, and you could see a relief from him too. Like, actually, I'm so glad we got to redo this because now I'm explaining a little bit more in like amazing detail of this experience. But he took a deep breath and he looked at me and he didn't even skip a beat. And he said 2 things. And he did that. He said 2 things. He's looking at me. He said, the way that I treated your grandmother after we immigrated here after the war, and the way that I treated your mom after you were born. And my mom was 16 when she had me. So he was a proud Dutchman, prominent in the community. He was a railroader. He was the head of the railroad union, and he was very well known, very proud man. And here's this 16-year-old girl who's pregnant, and he was ashamed. He was embarrassed of her and cast her out. And so here was this, my mom was a child raising me, and, you know, like, and for all the things, all the reasons why I resented her for not being the mom I wanted her or thought she should be, realized in that moment, everything she did to be the mom that she could be.
Mm-hmm. Buddy, I just got crazy goosebumps when you said that, man.
Right? Like it was such an important part of my healing. I was at like just over a year at that point, a year and a bit, year and a half. And it was such an important part for me because I had held on to so much, like even after my mom's death, and I was not in a good place when my mom died at all. But like even after my mom's death, I harbored still resentment towards her, angry towards her. And I was like pissed off that she was dead, that I couldn't be angry with her anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's just wild.
Finding
right?
reasons and stuff almost.
Percent.
Yeah.
And then it all made sense. Like that component in that I realized right there also made me realize that yeah, okay, so my mom was only doing with what she had, right? Like that's a given, but like in realizing it in real time in that moment, then began to realize the mistakes I had made and the things I was doing and the errors I'd made. At that point, I was a dad. I wasn't present. My first daughter was born in 2007 and 2006. I was not present and I was not available. I wasn't there. I was still using. I was still a mess. And like I started seeing all the patterns of things that started to happen, and through that, and it started to project. And I remember realizing that as I became more aware of my own sickness, I became more aware of other people's sicknesses too. And it wasn't necessarily other people's alcohol, because my mom wasn't an alcoholic at 16 years old, but it was just the sickness of everything that she missed out on that she continued to carry on because of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100% it does.
Right? Like,
well, being that young, you know what I mean, and having a kid, you're missing out on a lot of things in life, really. You know what I mean? You know, like school, for instance, you know, going to school and all that. But I mean, I have to say, man, and rest in peace to your mom, but she did an amazing job, brother. You know, from what I know about you, I'm fucking proud of you, brother. So she's up there looking down and proud of you. So good for you, man. I just want to say that. You deserve that.
Man. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
She did. It took me a long time. It took me a long time to see how good she did.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I mean, like, and going to childhood, man, like I blamed for a lot of the adult shit that I went through in my life. I blamed her a lot of.
Mm-hmm.
And that was part of that. Like going back to your original question, like who is Scotty H? You know, Scotty H is a warrior. Scotty H is a soldier. You know, I have a military mindset, warrior, soldier type of mentality. And it's because of this very thing. Is for a very large portion of my life, up until I was 40 years old, I held at the stern of my chaos a finger in the direction of everyone, every place and everything in my life that I blamed for why I was the way I was.
Mm-hmm.
I was a victim.
Mm-hmm.
And it was everybody else's fucking fault. And I was not willing to take responsibility. I was not willing or capable of accepting accountability for the things that I had done, because I was unable to see that it was all everyone else's fault. And that held me in bondage for a very, very, very long time.
Would you say, like, after you released all that it was like a lot of things changed, like big time in your life? Because I find, like, I was the same way in that I can relate to you. You know what I mean? I was kind of like that too, right? And it was never my fault. Never my fault. Everybody else's. You know, I'm perfect. You know, that's how I thought when I was. But I mean, I was young and stupid, right? At the same time too. You know, I wasn't really the man I am today, you know,
Right.
smart and realizing, well, I went somewhat smart, you know, I like to think so anyways, but I mean, it wasn't realizing like it's your fault. A lot of times it's your fault, or it's like you have the capability of changing the direction. Okay, so it may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility to change it, is what it is at the end of the day, you know? And a lot of things, I didn't take that responsibility to change things, and I just kept on blaming people until finally I had a kid, and I had to
Oh,
grow up.
right.
You know what I mean? I had to. That was it's changed my life, man. She literally changed my life. I'd probably be dead right now, but everything. And now I have full custody. She lives with me full time. You know, it's just daddy daughter, man, taking on the world, brother. You know, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
I love that. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
man. Yeah, brother. But enough about me, more about you.
Oh, man, yeah, you know, in talking about that daughter thing, man, like I remember in 2006, and I was fresh out of the pen. I just finished the second portion of a 5-year bit, and meeting this woman who I fell head over heels in love with, and you know, we were gonna get a house and a white picket fence, and the dream were gonna come true,
Yeah.
and you know, she ended up getting pregnant, and it was like I thought this was it. I thought this was going to be the saving grace moment of my life. Like, oh my God, now I have I've always wanted to be a dad, and it's going to be a girl, and I'm going to be the best girl dad ever. And within like, I think 3 or 4 days of finding out she was pregnant, I was off in a crack shack and getting high and loaded. You know, a couple weeks later, stumbled back in. The cops had to come and remove me because I'd been up for a week and flailing around and like, you know, all those types of things. And then I disappeared for another week and came back. And then like 2 weeks later, I showed up and she had a moving van, and the police were there with her parents, and she was moving out. And
Mhm.
she was, you know, and okay, and she's abandoning me, you know, like the
That's what you
total,
said?
oh, fucking rights I did,
Yeah.
right? Oh,
Yeah.
you know, abandoning me and taking off with my daughter, and how
Yeah.
dare
How
you,
could you do this
loaded, like,
stuff? Yeah.
of course you did. Like, and now I look back on it and I'm like, of course you did. Why wouldn't you? Like, good for
Yeah.
you for doing that. Like,
Yeah.
thank you for doing that, because holy Christ, right? Like, but then, you know, okay, let's talk about what that did to me, right? Man, that spun me to a downward spiral that didn't end for almost 3 years. It didn't end for almost 3 years. I ended up back in jail. Actually, like in between that time, somebody tried to murder me.
Oh,
I'd been,
fuck.
oh man, like, yeah, you want to talk about violence in my life. Jesus, bro. I mean, I've got scars from here down that somebody used a box cutter on me and tried to joker my face on this side, and like literally and like tortured me. In one incident, I got stabbed 17 times, shot in the
Holy
leg,
fuck.
and basically left for dead. If the guy didn't end up tweaking out and leaving, and I was able to then convince the girlfriend who was there, and it was her apartment, that if she didn't untie me, that I was going to end up dead, because I was bleeding out so bad on the floor. There was a giant puddle of blood, and I'm like, I'm going to die in your apartment, and you're going down for murder if you don't let me get out of here right now. And she ended up letting me go.
Thank God.
That was in and around that time. And, you know, and do you think that would stop me? Do you think that meeting with that type of violence would stop me from spiraling out of control? No. You know, I ended up leaving the hospital 3 days later, to go get high. Like, it was just wild, you know, and spent basically the following year and a half on the street in utter chaos. I got arrested for bank robbery. And got shit. I pled guilty. I signed a confession on Friday after I got arrested Friday afternoon, signed a confession on Monday morning, was in court Tuesday, got 3.5 years, and was on the bus to the pen Wednesday morning. That's how that transitioned out. I
Wow.
was like, I need out of here.
Yeah.
Like I knew that, and there was so much chaos in and around that. Like when I shared this with you before, like what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to get into a 2-hour spiel about my chaos, because I've talked on many podcasts and I've shared for almost 3 hours of just the chaos.
Yeah.
I am qualified to say that I have survived the utter most disturbing, most chaotic, most violent of experiences any human being in this part of the westernized world should experience. That I have been beaten, I have been shot, I have been stabbed, I have been tortured, I've overdosed so many frickin' times, and yet here I am.
Here for a purpose, my friend. You know what I mean? You're
Right.
helping people. You're helping people, you know?
When people talk to me about God and say, well, I don't know if God exists, and I'm like, let me tell you my story. And when I'm done, you tell me if God doesn't exist, right? Like,
Well,
there's
to plug an episode here, but if you get the chance to watch season 2, episode 20, 21, 22, that was Peter, and he got shot 26 times, 6 times to the head, hit his brain. Some of the bullets hit his brain. He died, came back to life, and was in a coma. You might remember it happened.
I know.
Yeah. So yeah. By Gilmore there. Yeah. 2009. Yeah. Yeah, and he survived, man. You know what I mean? He was on season 20 or season 2, episode 20. It was a 3-part episode, and it's just
Right.
like, I mean, how does that happen? You know what I mean? And he, like, the story that he said is like, he said he was like on the other side, but like saw people, but they were no good, like demons almost. But they
Yeah.
don't look like demons, but they were like demons. They're telling him to stay here. We'll
Yeah.
give you everything you want. And he's just like, fuck you guys, I'm going home, pretty much. And
Yeah.
then he woke up in the hospital, man. So I mean, like you
That's
said,
crazy.
I mean, there's got to be something, man. There has to be something. Like, that's just
Right.
wow.
And it took me a really long time because I didn't see, obviously when you're in it, you don't see it. You don't see any reason or purpose for it. You just think, you just chalk it up to the casualty. You're a casualty of the war you're in. Like this is, what do they call it? Collateral damage, right?
Collateral damage.
This is collateral damage of the war that I'm in, right? Like, and it was like, and then you would start bragging about it. Like, there's a reason why I wear this pendant, right? And not only is that this symbolic of like being basically bulletproof, but like it symbolized what I represent in my life today too, right? But like you have this complex that you just all of a sudden think you're untouchable and invincible, and then you start taking on the world, and holy man, then it gets even worse.
Yeah.
Like I can say this, I am responsible. Like I am 100% accountable and responsible for all of the chaos and the violence that occurred to me in my lifetime, right? I'm not responsible for the stuff that happened to me as a kid. I'm not. Like I was innocent. But when I became functionally capable of my own agency and making my own decisions, the violence was definitely as a result of things that I did, people I associated with, people that I shouldn't have fucked with, and other things like that. Like, and I dug my own grave in these situations. I was like, I shared on Bill Ward's podcast of a few months ago. It's like, these people, I was a liability to these people, that I was messing around so badly and so dysfunctional because I was just a fucking low-life loser junkie on the streets. I was a heat bag, and they were trying to clean up the mess, right? And
Thank
for
God
some reason,
thank God that you know what I mean?
Yeah, God had bigger plans, but it took me a long time and a lot of pain and suffering through it in order for me to realize that, You mentioned my 15 months. Think this is when things started to really change for me, that I started seeing things through a more spiritual lens and having a connection, because so there was a prison riot that I was involved in at one of the institutions that I was in here in the province, and during that time, they broke into healthcare and they stole the methadone out of the healthcare unit. Well, it was the pure methadone, like the unmixed stuff. So if anybody knows, it's a 10-to-1 mixture. Right. So you're actually, when people say, oh, I'm on 20 mils, it's actually, you're on 2 mils and they add 10, 20 mils of water, right? Like that's basically, it's 10-to-1 mixture. Right. And so they stole pure methadone, and then they were handing it out to all the people running around causing chaos. Well, I got handed this pop can and drank a couple big swallows of pure methadone, and vaguely remember the chaos of the prison riot. but woke up 5 days later in the hospital after being in a coma for 5 days, having been told that I was Narcaned 9 times
Oh my
and
god.
was basically unresponsive, flatlined for 45 minutes. Here's the fucked up story. So my grandmother in 2004, while I was in Kent Institution, got shipped to Chilliwack Hospital because she was dying of cancer. She had come to stay with my aunt, and my aunt, she lived in Chilliwack, and I was in Kent, which is in Agassiz. And so I got to see her the day that she died. Well, she died in that hospital. Well, 5 days later, I woke up in ICU after being in a coma for 5 days. And the nurse standing over me told me that you flatlined for 45 minutes. You were unresponsive. We Narcaned you 9 times. And she said that the on-call nurse at that time, who, when they called your time of death, pulled the sheet over your head, slid you, because I think there was 17 of us in total that got shut. They had to bring in ambulances from Hope, because there were so many guys that overdosed. 17 people, 4 people died, I believe, overdoses. Two or three, couple people got murdered. It was chaos. But she's telling me this story, and she's had like this tear. She's like, I can't believe you're alive. Like you have no idea how much of a miracle it is you're alive. And so what happened was they pulled the sheet over my head, called time of death, slid me into the other room. The correctional officers were like, fuck this guy, he's dead. Like, let's go. We've got more people here. So they slid me into the office. And as they slid me up against a thing and moved the next person in, the on-call nurse coming in from out in the room was walking by me, and she thought she seen this move, the sheet. And so she grabbed my wrist and she said that she felt a pulse, a faint pulse. So they slid me back, pulled the sheet back off of me.
Crazy.
Slid me back, Narcan me one more time. Fucking, I guess they were paddling me too, but Narcan me one more time, and I woke up.
Crazy, man.
And the nurse, check this out. Guess who the nurse was? The nurse was my grandmother's nurse.
Wow.
Because she came in the day after, and I guess she had been on call, whatever, but the nurse that told me the story didn't know that part. But the on-call nurse who actually saved my life, because if they would have left me, I would have been dead.
Yeah.
But the on-call nurse that saved me, she came in the next day, and she's like, Hulshof, she's like, is your grandmother Bernadine Hulshof? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, yeah, I was her care nurse, her palliative care nurse when she was here, when she passed in the hospital.
That's crazy, man. I just got crazy goosebumps, man.
Right?
Wild.
Tell me God doesn't exist.
Yeah, see, okay, so my mom actually had something like that happen. Not like Narcan or anything. So she was a nurse. This was before I was born. And she was at the party where like someone's retiring, like a retirement party, right? Yeah. And it's at nighttime. She goes, looks across the street, no cars, starts walking across the street. This truck comes out of nowhere, runs her right over. She goes right over, right. And then her friends are there, call an ambulance. The ambulance comes back to the hospital, and she's dead. She lost her pulse. She was gone. Same thing. She was gone for a couple minutes, and they did like the time of death, put the blanket over. And same thing, all of a sudden my mom woke up and like moved, and the blanket, same thing. And yeah, she said that she was in this beautiful place, and some lady in a beautiful white dress walked up to her and said, it's not your time yet. Hit her on the head, and she woke up in the hospital. And the doctor said that she will never have kids again. She will never, it's impossible for her to have kids. Here I am. And it's wild is my birthday is 4/4/84. It's like angel numbers, the fours or whatever it is. So that's my birthday, man. So, I mean, I've always felt like I had a bigger purpose.
It's crazy. That's okay. 4/4.
Yeah, it's just, but I say like the fours, right? So all the fours is supposed to be angel numbers, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty wild.
That's wild.
And so fours are huge in my life. So my daughter's birthday is
okay. So
it's like there's fours everywhere in my life. There's fours, man.
My daughter is February 4th, 2024.
Crazy.
Yeah. 2424.
Yeah, 2424, man.
Yeah, I'm big on numbers too. Big on numbers. My numerology is everywhere. My grandma, like, it's we get wicked sidetracked.
Yeah. That's for another show. Yeah.
Tune in next week.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I wanted to share that with you because that kind of
I love
like,
that.
you know, like my mom went through that, right? And I said, and then she said that she'll never have kids again. And then years later, like my mom's a lot older, because of the accident and whatever. But like my mom right now, I'm 41. My mom's 82. Yeah, so she's a lot older, and it just happened. Like I was just born, and then I also have a sister that's a year and a half younger than me. So not only did she have one kid, she had two kids when they said that it was impossible for her to have kids.
Yeah, you know, I wanna touch on this because I think that if there's anything, so one of my tagline, if you looked at the Diamond Life Academy logo, it says "Believe in the I'm possible," because believing I'm possible makes anything or makes the I'm possible and makes nothing is impossible.
I love that, man.
Right? Because I mean, if you like, I love watching stories. Like some of my favorite pastimes is just watching like hero stories and people who have made it out of everything. I love that stuff. I love it, love it, love it.
My
But, like,
podcast is all about that, brother.
100%,
This is why,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that's my passion, is bringing this, so to help people, to show
Yeah.
that you're not
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I jumped on one of my buddies. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just like, I don't know if you know how this podcast was made, but it was because my fiance passed away 2 years ago on
You
Father's
told
Day.
me that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just felt alone, and I wanted to help other men, you know, not just men, women too. I mean, right now in the live, there's Fergie. She's amazing, one of the top. Like I got a lot of love for her, you know. And so it's like women. It's not just men, but I mean, like it's based around men's mental health. But I mean, who the fuck am I to turn anybody away? You know what I mean? Oh, you're not a man, I can't help you. Fuck that. We're all human beings at the end of the day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like that's what it's saying. I wanted to help. I felt alone, man. Like I felt alone. Like everything just disappeared. My whole future, my past, everything gone. You know what I mean? And I didn't want other men to feel like that. So I created this, and it's been an amazing journey. And I have amazing guests like yourself come on and share their stories and where they came from, and show people that you are not alone, and that you did this, and multiple other guests, hundreds of guests have done this, you know. And it's just that's what it's about, you know, giving back and
Yeah.
helping, paying it forward, and it's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
It's all about the ripple effect. Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to. I just wanted to go touch
No,
on that.
fuck, I love that. I love that. I appreciate you sharing that, man. That's amazing. And like, dude, like right now, man, men, like I was watching a thing the other day about the statistics of suicide in men, how many men we lose every single day. It's like,
Yeah.
I think it's like 3 a second or something like that. It's not good. Like the numbers
No.
are crazy. 3 a
It-
minute or something like that. Like it's
Something like that, yeah.
it's not
yeah.
good at all.
No.
Right. And I mean, it's true. Like, and you know what, there's this one meme that I saw years ago, and it was like, nobody cares about a man's mental health till it's exploding in your face or something like that. Somewhere I'm paraphrasing, and that's
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah.
Right. Like we have a crisis in this country right now. I think in North America, period. I think I can say that comfortably.
Definitely, yeah.
That we have an epidemic of mental health crisis in this country that is being neglected and not talked about and not being addressed. And I think that if we had a collaborative, universal, nationwide effort to be more understanding and more supportive and offer more resources and more support in those areas, a lot of our community, city, mental health, addiction, alcoholism, violence problems would slowly start to the statistics and numbers would start to go down.
I
You know,
agree.
and it's sad that we don't forefront money and the financial and frontline resources for that.
Well, I 100% agree with you, man. 100% agree. What I will say too, though, is, you know, whatever the hell that we've been trying right now, like, and I'm looking at the government. I'm not looking at the little guys like us. You know, we're doing what we can, but I'm looking at the government. Whatever the fuck they're doing, obviously isn't working. You know, they 1 month, you know, you got, or Movember, you got that, then you got in June men's
It's all a
mental health,
gimmick,
whatever.
bro.
You know what I mean? That's
Right.
all it is.
Yeah.
It's all this, right? Just all bullshit. You know what I mean? It's for some name to look good on some piece of paper somewhere or whatever the fuck
Yeah.
it is.
Marketing
You know,
scheme.
exactly, man. Like what we're doing right now, or what's happening right now, is not working. You know what I mean? Like it's working for some people, I get it, but we gotta figure out a way. And like you said, global. You know, all come together, all be on the same page to make sure that it works properly. You know what I mean? I mean, like there's like, you know, AA is great, but they like, but that's its own entity. You know what I mean? Like we need something like that, but in the mental health like
Yeah.
industry. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and like I may not know, but it may be out there, and if it's out there, it's not fucking loud enough.
Yeah.
You know, if it is out there for people to like, it's a crisis, man. I've lost too many fucking friends. I deal with mental health. I deal with it every single day, man. You know, it's hard losing your partner, being a single parent, and then having your other my kid's mom is dealing with addiction. You know what I mean? It's hard, and then seeing your friends die around you. You know, it's fucking hard life, man. It really is, dude. Like our life is like hard, you know, but you got to make it. You got to have the right people, the right environments around you to make it at least a little bit easy. You know, it is hard, but I mean, at the end of the day, anything worth fighting for is amazing. You know what I mean? Like anything worth it is always going to be tough, you know? Like making millions of dollars, it's tough. You got to go through that shit, but you can do it. Anybody can do it if you really fucking figure it out. Anything that's beautiful and amazing that's going to bring you got to put that work in. It's going to be tough to get there, but that's the reason why it's tough, or everybody would do it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And that's the thing, you know, like it's like David Goggins says, man, you got to choose your hard, right? Life is hard, you know, like fucking being fat, lazy, and being a fat, lazy, deadbeat, broke fucking person on welfare is hard. Right.
Yeah.
Or, you know, or it's hard getting up at 6 a.m., going for a run, doing exercises, eating healthy, you know, not eating chocolate, not drinking, not smoking. Like that's hard too. But guess what? The results on the other side of it are far more worth it than the juice is worth the squeeze. Right. You've heard that?
100%, brother.
Like you can choose your fucking hard. Like everything is hard. Life is hard. Relationships are hard. Parenting is hard. Jobs are hard. Like society is hard. But wouldn't I rather, and this was part of my aha journey, was like when I realized and taking an honest account of my life and realizing everything that I had done to like little to no avail, and all of the fucking pain and suffering with zero results and such a minor reward here temporarily at best. It's like, what the fuck have I been doing for nothing, for absolutely nothing? And here's this opportunity that's being presented to me with a promise of so many results and so many things that could be beneficial. Why wouldn't I just make that effort to try to do this? And it was pulling that thread and getting that snowball rolling that started this avalanche of recovery for me, that's taking me down these roads that as I started seeing the results, and it was like, yeah, this is hard. Not being able to pick my fat ass up off the fucking floor from doing 5 or 6 push-ups was hard. Like I was 257 pounds, and it was just like, I did like 5. I remember the first time I worked out in treatment, like did 5 body squats, like 4 or 5 push-ups, and I couldn't even do 2 25-pound plates. And then I did like 5 or 6 lunges, and the next day I couldn't even get out of bed, and I felt so pathetic, but I felt good. Like that. I love the
sore pain. Yeah. Like the workout.
Love it. And, you know, and I thought to myself, I'm like, I had this moment of like, I have had moments where I've gotten out of bed where I couldn't get out of bed because I was dope sick. Right. And or my body was so sore from like walking all over town the previous night or day for whatever dope that I was trying to acquire in my scavenging. Right. And this pain is so much better and so much rewarding that I just got up and started moving around, and I just kept doing that and kept doing that and kept doing that. And I just kept going and doing and doing and doing and doing. I didn't know what was on the other end of it. I don't know what it was going to look like, but I knew that this pain was worth something a
Mhm.
lot more than all the other pain that I'd ever gone through and done.
The
And
right
it was,
pain can turn into beauty, brother.
man,
Pain is beauty in the right circumstances, right? You know, and like that's grit too, man. You know what I mean? Though that's another thing that I like to touch on is it's grit. And that's something that you can't teach. You can't teach grit. And my buddy Steve, he's got a podcast too, Men Thrive Daily. He is trying to figure out how to teach grit. But like you can't, man. I'm sorry to say you can't, right? It's like it's
you got to get
lived
dirty.
lessons, man.
You
Yeah,
got to. You have to. This and if you're living a bubble wrapped life and completely in fear of going out and experiencing and shielding yourself and protecting yourself on a daily basis from falling down and fearing every little nick and scratch, you're never gonna get grit.
yeah.
You're never
Or
you're
even
never gonna
live.
get it. No. Yeah.
Or even live, man. You know what I mean? Like I've been through some shit in my life, man. Like if you check out the podcast, you can see I've been through some shit. I lived 1,000 lives. Let's just say I lived 1,000 lives, right? And I mean, I'm happy I went through that. Do I regret anything that I've done? No. Do I feel bad of the stuff that I did? Hell yeah. You know, but do I regret? No, because they were a pawn in my story. Where like if I heard that part, this is my story and you were meant to come into my story, and however you did to affect my story, you needed to do that in order for me to go on this path to get where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I didn't hurt that person, as much as you know I feel bad about it, I don't regret it, because if I didn't hurt that person, I wouldn't be sitting here right now, you know, helping people, doing this podcast. You know, everything that I had happened in my life has put me in the seat right now at 9:57 with you on a Wednesday. You know what I mean?
I think I wrote something down here. I
Please,
want
man.
to see if I actually wrote it down, because I wrote something about that. So here, listen to this. I journal a lot.
Yeah, man.
So I encapsulated everything you just said in a quote, because I tell my guys, and I actually, I was sitting down with a guy yesterday at one of the coffee shops here, and we were talking about, he wants me to be a sponsor and take him through the steps. And so I was kind of like giving him the, like, are you ready for me type thing, right? Because I'm pretty intense. And
You have to be.
right? Fuck, buddy, this is war, man. This is
Yeah.
war. If you're not ready to be a soldier, then, then I'm sorry, but I'm not interested. Don't waste my time.
Yeah.
And there's too many people that have lost, and I've lost because they put half-ass in, right? Like, this takes a fucking lot of hard work, but it's worth it, right?
I agree, brother.
And so he's sharing a bit of his story with me. We were talking about how, like, sexual abuse stuff, right? And it hit a nerve, and I could see that. And I said, here's the most beautiful thing for you that I can share with you is, one day, because of the healing that you're going to do, that you yourself are going to be able to sit in this chair that I'm sitting in and talk to somebody who's going to be sitting in that chair that you're sitting in, and you're going to be able to help them because of what you've healed through, and because you are now qualified to share with them the things they need to know in order for them to help themselves. And in that moment, it'll all make sense, right?
100%.
It'll all be worth it.
Bumps.
Why? Like, why? Like, I most of my life, that's all I ever wanted to know was, why did this happen to me? Why this? Why that? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? Why did this person do this? Why did my mom do that? Like, and this whole time, God was just chiseling me. You know, he was chiseling me for a piece that he needed me to fit into this portion of my life, that I am now effective as a tool for people's change. But listen to this. There's no greater reward for a man or a woman on the journey to their healing that the validation of their trauma-induced pain and suffering through helping another with what they now represent as a result of what they've been through.
Can you say that one more time, man? That's fucking amazing, dude.
So there is no greater reward for a man or a woman on their journey to their healing that the validation of their trauma-induced pain and suffering through helping another with what they now represent as a result of what they have been through.
Fucking love it. I love it. You know, and like that guy Steve, I told you, Men Thrive Daily, right?
Yeah.
So he was he has a brain injury. He was coming off the highway on an off ramp, and some guy was trying to kill himself, all drunk, coming down the other opposite way, head on collision, and left him there to die pretty much. And he suffered a lot of stuff, and I talk about him a lot because I think what he brought up is monumental. It's huge, monumental. So I like to always bring this up. I said it multiple times, but he struggled. Having a brain injury. Your identity changes pretty much. He couldn't do the things that he would love to do. Now you like it's just what I mean. Your whole identity's changed. And then he started this like podcasting, doing some of this, and he was helping people, and he's helped multiple people now. And he's like, well, was this now trauma, and like, or is this actually a good thing I went through this? Like, was it actually a bad thing that happened to me in my life and changed my life? Or is it actually a good thing because I'm helping people? So how can you say that was a bad thing when you're giving life to other people?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of what you're saying there, in a sense, right? And it made me really think. Like, I went through a lot of hardship, in my life, things that were not my fault. Out of I was just a kid, and I look back and it was like, but that's who made me. Those things made me who I am today. So was it really bad? Was it really trauma? Yeah, okay, maybe it was bad, but at the same time, can I really say that because I'm helping people?
Yeah.
If that kind of makes sense to
No,
you. And that's like
100%.
that, and that's kind of like the grit thing that we kind of talked about before, in a way.
How else do you do what you do without of everything you've been through? How do you correlate, understand, and pull out people's stories from them without understanding exactly what they've been through because you yourself have been through it?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, I want to quickly share this story because it's a beautiful
Share as
story.
much as you want, brother. This is your time, my friend.
So I have a girlfriend who I've been working with for quite a few years. And this past summer we were talking, and she goes in and out, in and out, in and out. She has yet to. She's doing it now. She's better, but she was very, very badly sexually abused by her father, and she keeps going back to that, and she drinks and she goes back and all this kind of stuff, and she doesn't see the reason. And we were sitting talking in the summertime. We were camping, and she was sharing her story with me, and we were going through it again because she'd relapsed again. And I love God spoke to me, and I'm like, have you ever been, because she's a teacher. So she teaches like grade 1 and grade 2. And I'm like, have you ever been able to identify it in any of your students because what you've been through? I'm trying to get her to correlate the usefulness of what had happened to her, right? I'm trying to get her to put some meaning into it. And so I asked her that question, and she's like, she's like, oh my God. She's like, yeah, there's this girl. And she starts telling this story about this little girl in her class who was very, very much being abused by the father. She suspected it was the father. And she brought it up, and the parents, and then the mom all of a sudden came forward, and it led. She's telling me the story for the first time, and she like, her eyes, and she's like, just like, he got arrested, and he's been charged, and now the family's living with there, and she's so happy, and I'm like, okay, so let me ask you a question. I said, if you could take back everything that happened to you and make it non-existent in your life, knowing that little girl would never have had the intervention that she had, and that the abuse wouldn't have stopped, would you change what happened to you? And she fucking didn't even hesitate. She said no. And I'm like, there you go. There it is right there. Now you understand why, and is it fair? No, it's not fair. It's not fair at all. It's not fair that you had to go through that. And I'm not saying that's justified and it should happen to everybody so they can see it. I'm not. All I'm doing is giving you the understanding of, so you can give meaning to it for yourself, so you understand how much you were an impact in this kid's life, that you literally saved this little girl's life because of what you've been through. And she's done very, very well since.
Good for
her. And this is what I tell people, like in that quote there was a moment a while back for me that I was doing a class, And I mean, like I get up and I speak and I have people come up and I've been working with people for quite a long time. But this one particular moment, this young man's Grant, he was in treatment. And, he had something tragedy happened, and he poked his. I didn't know, but he poked his head into the classroom, and I was sitting in there, and I could see something in his eyes, and I'm like, "You okay?" And he was like, "No, man, can I just have a hug?" And so I held on to him for a good like 3 or 4 minutes, and at the end of the hug, he was just still holding on to me, and he said, "Thank you for being you, and I just really appreciate you. Please don't change." Fuck, man, I'll tell you, I've been through a lot, and I've had a lot of people tell me all what you said, and like, but like to hear somebody say that, like, thank you for being you, is like such a gift, because
Powerful, brother.
shouldn't
It's
we
powerful.
I don't think about it. Like, I tell my story. I have no problem telling, like, if this was clearer, you could see, like, they're pretty wicked.
Yeah.
Like, and I've got them all over the place. This guy carved me up, and I've got a few things. I got beat with baseball bats. I had the necklace, had to have surgically removed out of the back of my head. Like, I've been through some shit, like, and I can tell the story because I've changed the narrative. That's another thing about overcoming trauma. Andrew Huberman has a wicked podcast on it, and he talks all about it. It's about a 3-hour podcast.
He's great, man.
Wicked. He talks
Yeah.
about the neurobiology and the neurochemistry of trauma, and how to change it. And I've done all of that. I've changed the narrative. I've retell the story. I no
Can you
longer
send that
tell.
to me?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Please. Okay.
And so I can tell the story. Like, I have no problem telling all the crazy and horrible shit that happens to me. I don't let it, I don't tell the story anymore. Like, I'm a victim, I feel sorry, boo.
No, it's your
Like,
identity and who made you to
No.
this position. It's
No,
not the other way around, right?
it's
It's your
all part
yeah.
of the armor that is
100%.
now the man that I am. Like,
Hell
what
yeah,
people need to understand is that you can see things one of two ways. We've all been through shit. You can either say that you're a victim and this stuff happened to you. That means you're powerless over it. And it's continuing to have the power over you, and it's going to control and manipulate all the things you do. And every time you have an event or a situation in your life or a fight with your girlfriend or your wife or your kids, you're going to be like, "Oh, yeah, well, I was abused as a kid and I got bullied and I got blah," and that's going to be your life. And it's pathetic. I'm sorry, but it is.
I agree with you, man.
Right? That is
Yeah,
no
I
way
agree.
for a man to live and represent himself in the world. I'm not taking away what happened for you, because it's all relative to the individual, and I'm not downplaying. Some people may have all brutal stories, but at some point in your life, you're going to have to make a decision. And that decision is, am I a victim of this, for it happened to me and I have no control over it, and I am going to continue to allow it to have ultimate power and authority over me, dictating everything that I do and say and interact with? Or it happened for me. I can learn from it. I can heal from it, and I can choose to extrapolate, and I can take out all of the lessons that each one of those events had in it, and I can use it to patch up a framework of armor in my life today to battle the life that's ahead of me, instead of fucking crying about the life behind me.
And helping others and guiding them too.
Bingo.
Yeah,
Bingo, because
100%.
unhealed, broken people can't help other people.
No, exactly. And that's like what I said before is, it may not be your problem, but it's your responsibility to fix it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
David Goggins also says that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of
Oh, yeah.
other people do too. Tony Robbins,
Yeah.
Dean Graziosi, Ed Milet, they all say it. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the truth, man. You know what I mean? It is the truth,
Yeah.
I'll tell you just like a little thing. So I was 5 years old, and I'll skip past the other part, but this is important. So I was 5 years old, and I got in trouble at camp, and my punishment was to eat meat. And this fucking leader with like McDonald's trays of meat at this camp would stab it with a fork, throw it in my mouth, stab it again, hold it in front of my mouth until I finished it, shoved it in my mouth, and just did that. I'd run to the bathroom, puke it out, come back, and this happened for 45 minutes. She was jamming these fucking cubes of meat, right? to the point where I got PTSD from eating meat, not because of the taste or anything like that, but from putting it in my mouth and then getting scared, running and puking it out, from this lady. So from the age of 5 to 32, I never ate meat because of this PTSD. I would put it in my mouth and then I would puke instantly, even though I wanted to eat it. And I know it's crazy. It's crazy. And it would smell good. My friends would try to trick me. My buddy was on, well, rest in peace to my best friend. He was on MasterChef Canada, and he would trick me, make food. And then as soon as I see him smiling and I knew meat was in there, I would puke it because it was the psychological, mental shit. So I ended up, I met a girl, and she's the one that helped me get through that. Like, this is not your fault. She told me, this is not your fault what happened to you, but it's your responsibility to fix this. And at that point, from 32, I'm 41 now, I've been eating meat. And since 5 years old to 32, I couldn't eat it. It would puke. And I came back and I fought. And I mean, sometimes I have my days, PTSD. If you don't know, anybody out there know PTSD, it's nasty, and it comes in all different variants, man. It's not just war shit or other stuff. It can be mental stuff too, right? But yeah, man. So that really was a huge part of my life.
The reality is that I told my guys this literally today. We talked about this, and we talked about that very, very, very same thing. And the power of it was unbelievable, that these guys are just so receptive to this information. It's like, yes, this happened to you. At some point you became capable of making your own decisions and choosing your own path, and then incorporating that into your life, and then roll in the consequences. But if you choose to do absolutely fucking nothing with it and continue to roll on down this hill, you will do nothing but suffer and seal your fate into this type of your life, this kind of life for yourself, and you will have no reprieve from anything, and you will continue on this path and journey, and it will leave you nowhere, or
it's miserable, man.
100% miserable. Yep. Because the insanity is that, here's one for you, and I get squirrel.
That's okay.
I just did a video about this the other day because it's so true. Is at the end of, have you seen the animated version of The Grinch, the new one?
Oh yeah.
So at the end of the movie, I've seen this thing fucking, I don't even know how many times, 20 or 30 times. And
I watched it 2 days ago with
right?
my girl.
And I bet you didn't notice this, but now you're going to. So at the end, when he was bringing all the presents back down and they're all coming out Christmas morning, wondering like, what the hell happened? He slides in and somebody goes, "You stole all our presents? Why did you steal all our presents?" And the Grinch says, "I stole all the presents because I thought it would change something that happened to me in the past. And it didn't."
He says that?
Yes. Yeah, bro.
I'm gonna have to.
You have to go
it's on
check it
Netflix
out
right now,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
that's where.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to definitely.
I literally was like, my God, he's talking about like forgiveness and acceptance
Yeah.
and like letting go of the past, and that statement, I stole the presents because I thought it was going to change something that happened to me in the past. And he has had this, not only, I mean, let's just talk about the stealing of the presents, but you have the past event. I'm a finger person, the past
No, you're
event.
good, brother.
And then you have this timeline of life where you have created this character of behaviors, thoughts, actions that have timelined you up until this point, thinking that somehow, some way it's going to change. And that's the insanity cycle that we're all stuck in over our trauma and over our guilt and shame and regret. And that's where we get stuck. And then we're drinking, we're drugging, we're abusing, we're violence, we're sex, we're gambling, we're eating, we're doing all this because we think that somehow, some way, maybe, just maybe, the past is going to. But every day that we wake up and reinforce the behavior, we just validate all of the fucking terrible shit about ourselves, and we do nothing to change. The real aha is realizing that when you wait, like it happened to you, it's doing nothing for me. I'm doing absolutely nothing. And if I continue to do this, then this is going to be the outcome. And I'm making no effect on this event that happened to me. So I am dragging fucking this event that happened to me 25, 30 years ago through this entire version of my life, destroying all of the opportunity I have every day to wake up and do something different. And that was part and parcel, along with, working myself through the steps, that realizing how pathetic it was for me to continue to destroy today over stealing
That was your
presents
breaking
today,
point?
stealing
your
presents
break- yeah.
today to try to make up for all this shit that happened to me in my past. And I'd created this version of myself to destroy life because I was angry about all this stuff. The turning point was this. Marcus Aurelius, his meditations book, he has a quote in there that fucking blew my mind. Me and my buddy Jesse Thody, we'd get up every morning. I'd get up at 4:45. He'd get up at 5:15, and we'd make coffee, do some step work, and then we'd be sitting in the common room, and we'd always read from like a wisdom book of some sort. And on that day, we were reading from Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, and I don't know, we were like maybe 3 or 4 months into this at this time. And this quote blew the lid off of this. And the quote goes like this: how much more damage does the carrying of guilt, shame, anger, and resentment do to us than the original event itself? And so I thought about it.
Oh.
Now check this out. This will put things really into perspective. So I got kind of curious. I read it. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? Like, oh my God, like, no shit. Like, it was that hard hitting. Like, it was like, God was like, understand
I'm having
now,
that
like,
moment right now, but I'm trying to
right?
keep it all together right now.
Right?
But it's like, yeah, definitely.
So this is what I did. I'm like, I really wonder what that number is. So I went and I sat down for about a week or two, and I just tried to autobiography my life and extrapolate the event itself from as many moments as I possibly could. And I'm not talking like, okay, so I got, let's just say I got bullied. And so I was like, I got bullied for a week. Well, no, I didn't get bullied for a week. I got bullied for like 10 or 15 minutes, right? Like, and then I just like dwelled on it for a week, right? The original event itself. So I tried to, in my best ability, go year for year from my earliest memories all throughout for basically the 40 years of life. And I came up with 240 hours, approximately, give or take, of course. And you know how many hours in total there was in that portion of life? 256,000 hours. That is 0.1%.
Mm-hmm.
So for 0.1% of trials and tribulations in my life, I drug that 0.1% through 99.9% of my life, ruining it.
Crazy, man. When you put it in that like perspective like that too, like it's like Joey used to say, it's like carrying cinder block chained to your fucking leg and just walking around for years with that thing.
Right?
Crazy.
Isn't it insane?
Crazy.
And it was that moment.
In
like,
my head right now. Now I'm
Yeah.
thinking, man, like, and it's like, and like a lot of these things may be big at the time, but they're not really in the grander scheme. I mean, yeah, okay, me losing my fiance, me losing my daughter, like going through some of that
Of
shit.
course.
Yeah, okay.
Of
You know what
course.
I mean? There's different things, definitely. But I mean, bragging that with me, though, like, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, okay, but like, I'm just putting myself in this position now just because of what and I'm thinking like, like her death, yeah, but I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? I understand death. I've had death in my life. I watched every single one of my family members die in my mom's house when I was from the age 5 to 18. I know death. My mom's got lung cancer right now. She's 82 and she's ready. She could go any day. And I'm okay with that because she lived her life. And, she made me understand that we're all going to die someday.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of it, and I'm okay with that. But I mean, man,
Right?
yeah, I just want to sit down and kind of like go through all this shit and be like,
Yeah, man.
what the fuck was I thinking, and want to slap myself across the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The thing is like, it's like, what does, when I ask people this question, it's like, what does
I'm
Let's
blown
say,
away
okay,
still.
let's say, okay, so you're like, I'm going to say, so your mom dies when you're 10. Okay. Let's talk about, let's say that never happened to me, but that happened with a guy that I worked with. And he was lived with his dad. His dad was an alcoholic, and like he blames his whole life on the fact that his mom died, because then he got put with his dad and blah 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 blah. Okay, fine. But what does so you're now 38 years old, and you have absolutely fucking nothing. You've been living on the streets. You're an alcoholic. You're a drug addict. You're 38 years old. Your mom died when you were 10. Can you please tell me what does your mom dying when you're 10 years old have anything to do with how you woke up today and chose to live your life?
What did
Please explain that to me. And he couldn't. And it's help and understanding, because that's what I did. That was the epiphany that I had. It was like, what the fuck does all of this stuff that happened way back there, this 0.12%, have to do with how I woke up today and what I chose to do with my life?
That's
It's like,
crazy. Man, if you're listening to this, well, I hope you're fucking listening to this, everybody. But I mean, seriously, pay attention. Like, this is fucking huge, man. I never thought about this shit. So, like, save this fucking timeline on your on the podcast and come back to this stuff when you're feeling like, you know what I mean? Like, this is
100%.
huge, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you have no idea. Like, well, you have an idea because you went through this, and now you just fucking opened my mind to this shit, man.
Yeah, it's wicked. It put, for me, it was that aha moment of like perspective that I so badly needed to realize how kind of, and I'll use the word comfortably, pathetic I had chose to be all those years of my life, and kind of really was a turning point for me in how I chose to move forward, when I was like, I refused to allow myself to be that pathetic anymore. And I was not going to continue on to be that level of a victim and waste so much of my life. And again, I had no idea what my life would turn out. I had no idea what the steps would result in. I'd barely believed they were going to work. Like, I had no idea. But this deeper level of understanding put so many things into perspective for me, and really brought in the gratitude portion of things, of like realizing like how grateful I needed to be for what I did have available to me.
And I that's so true, man, because I do it. I'll full out and be the first to say that I take things for granted. Definitely. I never, well, not take things for granted, but I don't look at, I have a roof over my head. I have food in the fridge. I have a beautiful daughter that loves me. You know what I mean? Like, it's always about, oh, what I don't have, what I'm struggling on. But what about the things that we do have? I have a wonderful dog. I got 2 little kittens. I got a beautiful girl. I got another girl that's like a girlfriend that's amazing. I got this podcast. Like, those are the things, and I find myself a lot like missing out on that. I don't do that. So thank you for reminding me this, man. I just want to say thank you. And everybody out there, be grateful for what you do have, man, because there's people out there that don't have a roof over their heads. There's people that won't eat for days,
Yeah.
So be grateful for what you do have, man. And in the society that we live in now, it's fucked though, like snowflakes,
Yeah.
people don't get their way. They just, they have meltdowns, man, and it drives me crazy, man, because there's bigger things out there than, I mean, for kids nowadays, you take a phone away and
Oh
a
my
lot of these kids,
God.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but there's a lot worse things out there than not having a phone for a couple hours or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? I don't know, man.
Yeah, we're not headed in a very good direction, that's for sure. Our society is crumbling, our humanity is crumbling, our masculinity and our households, our family units are crumbling, parenting is crumbling, youth experience and education and guidance is crumbling, discipline and everything, the whole infrastructure of everything that used to once represent anything valuable is all crumbling, and it's crumbling right in front of our faces. And you know what? One of my biggest issues right now is I'm having a problem. I mean, my life is amazing, and life is exactly how it should be. And the acceptance part, acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. That's my problem. My problem is I am absolutely, utterly powerless in a world that is crumbling around me with powers that are so more powerful than I could ever imagine to be. People who are far more powerful, far more influential, and I focus too bigly, too large on it, and I need to, like we've been talking about doing the podcast. I want to get back down. I want to refocus my energy and start being effective on the level that I can be, and just being a voice for people to hopefully, make an impact and change. Cause I got no pull in the world, man. I don't. I try to tell people, I try to warn people the vaccination shots, not to go down that rabbit hole, but I yelled from the top of my soapbox, please don't.
I'm on the
It's a
same page as
scam.
you, brother. I'm on the
Right?
same page
Like,
as you. Yeah.
I got, and whatever, the results of that were my own to take responsibility for. I have people in my life. I don't have people in my life, but I wasn't wrong. Let's just say that. Right. And it is what it is. But I mean, where we're headed is not a good place.
No. Well, what is
But-
that saying? That's hard times create easy men.
Yes.
Easy men. Yeah. And that we're going through that. So we're in the easy times, and it's not easy. Or what is it? Hard times, easy men. Easy men create. It goes something and then hard, and then they create hard times, which then and that's what it is, man. The hard times are gone, and now it's these easy times, I guess you could say, of these kids, but it's actually really opposite. It's actually hard times, because I think we're doing everything different, man. And like, no wonder there's so much mental health issues. We're more than anything now, and no wonder why there is, because look at this fucking world that we're in.
Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times.
Yeah, that's it right there. So we're going through that. So we're going through weak men right now. I believe that's the time we're in.
Well, I mean, everything about a man is being stripped from us. We're being attacked, and we are being, we are being basically labeled as toxic and unhealthy. You see, recently they're making legislation to take out health influencers from social media and Instagram in Canada.
What? This is
Yeah,
new?
buddy, I'm not even joking you. We'll have to talk outside of this, but
yeah,
they've got legislation in place right now to start, and it's going to start creating a cascade event of taking down,
like my platform right here, pretty much. Wow.
Yep. Health and fitness influencers, positive, like all types of stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah,
But,
we'll
I
definitely
mean,
talk offline after.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah.
Sidetrack. Another story. Don't lose people on our conspiracy theories.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I don't know, man. What we're doing right now is fucked.
Yeah.
And like I said before, like whatever we're doing, mental, it's worse, if anything, right now.
Yeah. It's the worst it's ever been in history.
Definitely.
Yeah, and we're talking about like through depression, 2 wars, the mental health, and the state of mindset, mentality, the human condition is the worst it's ever been in history, recorded history.
Well, there is that one vet from, I think he's one of the oldest vets, and he was British though, and he was on a show.
That.
You saw that, right?
Yeah, he said he was embarrassed, ashamed of what they died for.
Yeah, he said it's not even worth it. It wasn't worth losing all his friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I agree with him, man. I agree. Like I've had family members that were in the war, and I've heard stories and what they did, and thank you for all your services.
100%.
People in the war or in the army right now. But I mean, it's fucked. I don't know, but that's a whole different podcast. That's a whole different podcast.
100%. In kind of, I wanted to kind of segue out of that is like a lot of the guys that I work with are First Nations guys, and we talk about the First Nations communities, and we talk about the lack of men, and my whole shtick, like that's why I say David Goggins, because David Goggins is a fucking man's man. You know what I mean? Like Navy SEAL, like he is, like goosebumps when you hear his story. Like the only man to do
everything, man. Yeah,
he is the man. Like that guy is boss, right? And this world this world, our kids, our families, our loved ones, our communities, they need men. They need real men, real leaders to represent something different and to represent possibility and change for the next generation to see that it's what is better for them to follow instead of what's being pushed for them to follow now.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, let's go back to this. The symbol of this means something to me. It means a representation of what I believe I stand for and what I go out to accomplish every single day. And what I am being seen as in the world is I want to be seen as something that people can follow and people can. I mean, there are people who don't like me, and I will say this up front. I am an asshole. I'm an asshole because I tell the truth. I call people out on their fucking shit, and I don't accept nonsense from people and people's behaviors. And so people
I love it,
who,
man. That's real. That's
right,
real. I
right,
say the same thing. I'm the nicest asshole you'll ever meet because people don't like it how I tell it, But at the
nope,
same time, man, I mean,
they
I'm being
loved
real
it.
with you.
Yep, they
You know?
loved it when it wasn't directed at them.
Yeah, yeah. I
Right,
mean, like, I'm the type of friend that'll tell you the truth, but I'll still
100%.
fucking bring the shovel. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that type.
yeah, me
You
too.
know, and I'm not gonna be like, oh, you just got a breakup. Don't worry, everything's gonna be good. You'll be fine. Blah. No, it's gonna fucking suck, man. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna suck, but you're gonna be okay. If you're a fucking idiot, I'll tell you you're a fucking idiot. But at the end of it, I'll still tell you I love you.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people don't like that. People are scared of the truth. They just want to know. They just want to hear what the fairy tale has to say. At the end of the day. But sorry, this ain't no fairy tale. Oh, my dog is
Nope.
going crazy over
No,
here. She wants a treat.
It's not, and that's the thing. Like, don't get me wrong, I have fun. I love to laugh. I love to joy, but like, it's a war. It is
Yeah.
a war every single day, and I love life. I love life. I love to experience life, but right here, it's a fucking war, and
Yeah.
we got to battle for it, and we got to fight for it. I don't like another thing too is like I don't fight to stay sober anymore. Like I don't. It's not even. It's not even in this solar system. Let alone anywhere in the stratosphere of my life today. That is the one thing I don't do today is I don't struggle to stay sober. And that's the gift that the program and God has given me. It's been taken from me. I have removed that. It's gone completely. What I fight with is I fight with people, places, and things, personalities, characters, the world that's around me, and the failing society that is, it feels like is falling on my shoulders when I'm busting my fucking ass to provide for my family, and I have people who are dying around me who I can't help because I don't have time to help them, or I'm so spread thin. Like, those are the wars and battles that I fight for and I fight with. But by the grace of God, the 12 steps, I'll say it straight up, 12 steps, Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous, I don't have craving or I don't have that problem anymore. It's been removed completely. And that is a
amazing, man.
gift what it promises us when it says, right? And I'm a recovered drug addict. I say that I'm recovered. I'm a recovered alcoholic. I'm a recovered drug addict. I fucking hate people who have 10, 15, 20 years and they still say they're an addict and alcoholic.
I gotta ask you about that, man, because that's a huge problem I have too. You know what I mean? Like, that is a major problem. My complex was she was huge in AA or NA actually. And I went one time to hers and I told her I'd never go again. I like the program. I like what they do, but that coming up there, and I turned to her and I was like, because this is the first time I lost you there. Anyways, yeah. So this was the first time I ever went to an AA meeting, right? And these people are getting up there and like, yeah, I can hear you. And he's gone. Anyways, I'll just keep on going. So first time I ever went to an AA meeting, and these people come up there and they're like, "Hi, my name is like Sue or whatever the name is," and they stand up and like, I'm an alcoholic. But they're sober for fucking like 20 years. No, I'm sorry, you're not a fucking alcoholic anymore. You're sober.
So
If you're drinking, you would be an alcoholic. But you're
Okay.
not drinking, you're sober.
I agree. I agree more. There's two levels. There's two parts to this for me that I want to touch on. And
Yeah.
this is why I do it. Is one, that the negative present tense correlation of the word alcoholic and addict. Okay. I am no longer those things. And therefore, why would I identify myself as a present tense correlation to something that is negative and detrimental in a current situation that I am no longer? Maybe at the very beginning, sure, maybe.
Yeah.
Like when I'm brand new, 3 months, 6 months, I used to say I'm recovering, right? Like I'm recovering. I went through a portion where I was like, I'm a survivor of this disease, blah, blah, blah. But I finally came to this place, was like, look, is I have recovered, and it says it right in the opening. It says it in both programs. The opening monologue of the first edition, it says, this is a story of 100 men and women who have recovered from a hopeless state of mind and body. Okay, there's one. It says we do recover. In the NA program, one of the first readings, it says, who is an addict? An addict is a man or woman, blah, 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 blah. It goes down to talk about what an addict is, which I am none of those things right now. In further readings, about 4 or 5 readings later, it says we do recover. When at the end of the road, we blah, 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 blah. It says we do recover. It says it right in the literature. We do recover. I have a friend who is in remission from cancer. She doesn't walk around going, oh, I'm a cancer patient. You know, like, you know, she doesn't announce it like that. You know, if she were going to support groups, she says, I wouldn't go around saying that, I'm a cancer patient. Like, you know what I
Or
mean?
if
Like,
someone's homeless, man, and then they have a house. You don't go around saying I'm homeless. You have a
Exactly.
fucking house, you know?
Yeah.
And like you're sick, you're putting that negative energy
Yep.
and this was my
Label.
big problem, you know, and you're putting that big energy out there, you know, and then it's affecting you because in the back of your head, you still got, I'm an addict. I'm an addict. I'm an addict. Every time you come up and you stand at the podium and you say that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so you're putting that energy out there.
100%. I agree.
You know, if you ever watched The Secret or, you know, the movie or the book, The Secret, you put out good energy, you're going to get that shit back.
And language has power. There is energy and power in words, and the words that we have over ourselves and the negative derogatory connotations of those labels are detrimental to our freedom. And that is what I truly believe. And I refuse to allow myself to be continually labeled like that. I am not an addict, an alcoholic.
You, man.
I am a recovered alcoholic. Obviously, I understand that if I ever pick up a drink or a drug, it's gonna, you know what I mean? Like, for people who are watching, like, the one misconception and the one reason why anonymity was so important about the programs themselves is because people would be like, oh, I'm taking AA and I'm healed. And then they'd see him at a fucking bar and they'd be drunk and be like, oh, well, clearly your program doesn't work. Right. Well, the truth is that if I'm not it's like insulin, right? If I'm a diabetic and I don't take my insulin, then I have a reaction. Right. If I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict and I'm not working my program and I'm not surrendering and doing all the things that the program teaches me to do, then I'm susceptible to relapse. And it's a good chance that I'm going to fall off the wagon and fall back into addiction. And therefore I would fall back in. As long as I'm working my program and living my life according to spiritual principles and doing the things that I do on a daily basis, I will stay recovered.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree, man.
And the program is working for me, right?
Yeah.
And I recover out loud. Most of my clothing I wear is all like my boy Bill Ward from Calgary. He's got the Undercast. He's part of the God Dope movement. I love this because I used to say to people in my first years of recovery, I'm like, I got that God Dope. I traded dope for God Dope. I'm a hope dealer and all those kinds of things, right? I'm living a vibe, man. I'm living a vibe of recovery and life and like just mindset, mentality, war. Like, let's go, let's get up, let's kick some ass. And I'm taking people with me, bro. I'm trying to change people's lives. I'm trying to share the messages. I'm trying to let people know that there's a way out, that there's a way through healing. There's a way for them to share their message, that there's hope for them, that they don't have to be stuck in that guilt and shame of what mistakes they've made as a result of being a drug addict and an alcoholic. You know, like, people need to understand there are far more powerful factors that guide their behaviors and their actions when they are in those areas of addiction. And that's not who they are, right?
It's like, let's face it, a lot of this shit is from childhood trauma. That's where it stems from.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I would say 99.9% of the time, it's something from childhood trauma, you know, like it usually stems from that. And that's like what you said before, is they're dragging this shit through them, you know what I mean, and not dealing with it, you know. And a lot of times, man, people just need to start figuring out the problem, you know, and just deal with the main issue, so you can, and then everything will just come in line, man.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, everything just, it rolls. Maybe not as easy as it sounds. It sounds easier, but I mean, you got to put in the work.
Yes, you do.
Any day, man. Anything worth it in this is hard to do, man.
Yeah.
You know, anything in this life is hard to do. It's just,
Yeah.
you got to put in the work. Like you said, pick your heart.
Yeah, pick your heart. And like, I guess it's getting late.
Yeah. I was just looking at the time right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's getting late, and it's like, I lost my thought. You pick your heart, but like, everything beautiful in this world is created and grows in the most hostile and most violent environments possible. Rubies, diamonds, I mean, everything, men, right? How else do you expect to become men, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to live in your guilt and shame. You don't have to live in your trauma. It was not meant to be a weight in your life. It was meant to teach you a story and teach you a lesson about what your possibilities and what your capabilities are. And if you choose to use it for that, it can be powerful, and you can change lives, starting with your own, right?
Fucking superpower.
Right. And like,
Just
another
like your
thing,
necklace, brother.
fucking rights, buddy. Like, you know
Just
what I
like your
mean? Like,
necklace.
just know this, like, for the people who are listening right now, specifically right now at this time of night, when you're given the blessing of waking up in the morning, this is perspective. This is the last piece of perspective. When you wake up tomorrow morning, when you're given that blessing by God to wake up tomorrow morning, there will be in the Western world approximately 3,000 to 6,000 people that didn't wake up, who went to bed, kissed their wives and their children goodnight, and they fully expected to wake up today, tomorrow morning, and go to work and live their lives. If you are given that gift and you have that opportunity to do something with it, make the most of it, because that is the day that is given to you, and that's the only day that exists, the only day that matters. The only day that you are ever given an opportunity to do anything meaningful is the day that you wake up into. Every tomorrow is a today. That's why tomorrow never comes. But, you know, if you're given that blessing, realize that it is a gift and that your life isn't over. And if you still have breath in your lungs and a heartbeat in your heart, that you still have a chance to do something amazing with your life. And it doesn't have to be everything overnight, but if it's just one day, because that's all it is, it's just literally one day at a time. Anything is possible for you if you're willing to work for it.
And that's the magic words.
Yeah.
You know, you just can't sit there and be like, oh, it's going to happen someday. You got to put in the work.
Yeah, your life will, if you're suffering and you're in your tough times now, your life will never change. Your life will be continuously challenging and full of strife and troubles and pain and suffering with no result whatsoever. Or like you said earlier, choose your heart. Start doing some work. Start doing some really deep digging in your soul and soul searching, and do some work that's going to be hard, but your results will be far more beneficial and far more rewarding and life-changing than doing absolutely nothing and suffering the same.
Well, not just your life, not just made dependent on it, but the people you're surrounding too. You know what I mean? That's and that's just being selfish. You know what I mean? That's like, you got to think about the people around, and not to kind of just to go off of this. That's like death and suicide, man. I mean, I understand it. I tried it in 2015. You know, I understand it, but you don't think about the lives that are affected, and so on, and generations even. You know what I mean? So if you guys are listening, exactly what Scott said, you know, and what we said, pick your heart, you know, and live life every day. You know, don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future. Just worry about what you have in the present. Waking up and being thankful that you got a roof over your head, because like he said, you may not wake up one day. There's thousands of people that are not going to wake up that day. So like, I just want to leave off with that, man. I think that's a wicked way to end this great episode with you, brother. I just want to say thank you. One last thing, if you can just plug the shit out of your stuff one more time so people can get at it, brother. I'm all about pushing and paying it forward, brothers.
If anybody's in the Lower Mainland of British Columbia and wants to get a hold of me to do some level of counseling, or anything, you can find me at thediamondlife.ca. Instagram is thediamondlife.ca. My YouTube channel is thediamondlife.ca. I haven't done much on YouTube in a long time. It's changed its ways of uploading, but lots on Instagram and lots on TikTok. TikTok is Scotty H70. I think, just let me double check.
No, you're good. Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, so Scotty H77X. That's my TikTok. And yeah, and feel free to reach out to me if anybody wants to follow me and any questions or anything like that, or need some support or guidance. I have connections to all the treatment centers in the Lower Mainland. I can do referrals for counseling and mental health. I have those credentials. And I can be of service in any way possible. If there's any men out there that need support and want to know how to get themselves back on track using mindset warrior tactics and things like that to overcome trauma and abuse, please message me. I am here. I'm available. I'm willing to help anybody at all. And my all my links will be down in the notes section. That's it, man. That's it.
Well, I just want to say, man, I appreciate you, brother. I know it's late, so why don't, if you got some time tomorrow, if you shoot me a text, I actually would like to talk to you about some stuff, and maybe we can even do some collab. I can help out either way. I mean, I'm just over in Surrey. I know Surrey, yeah, but I'm in Surrey, bro. I'm a East Van, Burnaby boy. I moved here after everything.
Yeah.
I grew
Story
up, man. No, I am, brother. I am definitely. I'm born and raised North Burnaby, on the border of East Van, North Burnaby, brother. So this is temporary. I had to, because when my fiance passed away, I was trying to find a place, right?
Of course.
This is the only thing. Yeah, but
Of course.
trying to get out of here. No offense to Surrey, but I mean, it's not my cup of tea. I'll tell you that.
I was
right?
in Abbotsford for a while. It's not any better.
Yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, if you can shoot me a message tomorrow, man, I'd love to maybe, link. And I know you want to do some stuff. I won't say too much about it right now, but I know you want to do some stuff of what we're here. So
Yeah.
I'd love to help you and give you some pro tips on what I do and whatever I can do, man. I'm all about paying it forward, right?
Me as well.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And thank you, everybody. I appreciate everybody listening. And I know we're a little late tonight, but it is what it is, and too fucking bad. This is what you get, and fucking like it or not. Anyways, guys, thank you again. Take it easy, and we'll talk.